Perfect. Okay, so tonight is our foundation facts. So I've broken it down into 4 different categories. Why do we wear foundation? Number 2 is what type of foundation should I wear, right? That's usually a question that we all have. What should my color be? Number 3. And what tools should I use to apply foundation? And does that even make a difference? So, why wear foundation? Our first question. The number one reason of foundation and why it's beneficial for skincare is that it protects the skin. That's the number one purpose of foundation. Now, foundation does need to be non-comedogenic, which ours are in Mary Kay. All of our foundation, in fact, all of our products are non-comedogenic, which means that they do not leave a residue behind and they don't clog the pores. If you think of soap on a shower, what does that leave behind? A residue, right? That residue clogs pores. Now we think of that in regards to soap, but we don't realize that every product does that, including foundations. Foundation can clog the pores if it's not designed properly. So when it is designed properly, it actually is a protectant for our skin. If you've ever worn glasses at all, because some people might say, well, why do I need to protect my skin? I don't go out in the sun a lot or whatever. Well, there's a lot of different ways that we need to protect. Sun exposure is definitely one way that we do need to protect the skin, but also just day-to-day gunk. If you've ever worn glasses or sunglasses and you've had just that stuff that you're always cleaning off the lenses, that's just environmental stuff that's out there that settles on our face and it gets into our pores. So it is important to basically have a cap on our pore so that it lays up here. And so when we wash our face at night, we remove that, it doesn't get settled in the pores. So wearing foundation is a protectant for our skin. Now, why are clogged pores not good? Well, number one, it creates a lot of skin problem in regards to blemishes and that sort of thing. But it also accelerates the aging process. A lot of people don't realize that when our pores are clogged, it actually accelerates the aging process. Our skin can't rejuvenate the way it's meant to. We don't have the cell turnover the way that we should to keep our skin firmer longer. And so it slows that down, and then there's less collagen being produced, et cetera, et cetera. So it actually accelerates the aging process. Other benefits, it does even out the skin tone and makes it look nice and even. And then, of course, our foundations are anti-aging. We have that special Time-Wise complex in there that makes them anti-aging as well. So that's a huge benefit to our foundations, in addition to the other things that I've shared, but it's also that product is an anti-aging product too. What type of foundation? So here are the types of foundations that we have. We have our liquid foundations, okay? And for us, we have a matte formula, which you can see by the purple on the back. And we also have a liquid in our luminous. If you can see that, it's pink on the back. So our matte formula has oil absorbing properties in it. And our luminous, if anyone has more dry skin and will like just a little extra moisture content to their skin, the luminous. So we have the same shade in both formulas. So someone can go, okay, this is my shade, but I want the oil absorbing properties, which would be our matte wear. Somebody might have the exact same shade and go, you know what, I have dry skin, so I'd like a little extra moisture. That would be our luminous. So we have our liquid both in matte and in luminous. It goes on super fabulous. It's very light, but it has very good coverage at the same time. So some people just prefer a liquid and that's what their go-to is. I'm wearing the matte formula tonight. I have oily skin. I love the extra oil absorbing properties in our matte wear. Now, Our next formula that we have is our CC cream. Okay. If you think tinted moisturizer, you're kind of on the right track. This is very lightweight, super natural, but it does give a little bit of coverage. It's like a step down coverage wise from our liquid. So, but it still gives coverage. It's just a little bit less. So we have about 5 different shades in it, contains different pigments. So it's very universal in regards to not having to be super specific match wise as far as the exact shade, because it has all of a whole bunch of different pigments in there. So it kind of adjusts to your skin. This I find is super great for people with normal skin, dry skin, and even combination skin. Now I have more oily skin, so I do this in the winter. In the summer, it's a little bit too heavy for my skin being oily. So those are some things to factor in, but this is our CC cream. We then have cream to powder. If someone's wanting more coverage, this adds moisture. It goes on creamy, but it finishes as a powder. So I'm going to show this here, hopefully without spilling it. So you can see it's a thick, rich cream. And you usually apply it with sponges or our blending sponge, but you can also do the foundation brush as well. But for people that like more coverage, this is a great option for them. So it goes on like a cream, but finishes as a powder. Then we have for people that like barely there, like I want it to be like barely anything on my skin. And that's where we have the silky setting powder. Okay, and we have it in different shades. I don't know if you can see, it has different shades. So we have ivory and we have beige and we have bronze and that sort of thing. So it has just a hint of color to it. But if someone prefers a barely there kind of feel, this is a great option for you. This also has a matte finish as well. So that's what somebody would do, is you would ask some people questions to find out what their preference is as far as what they like on their skin and what their skin type is. Because if somebody has combination or oily skin, there are certain ones of those that are better for them. And if somebody does have dry skin, then there's others that are better for them. But so we take into account skin type, but also what someone's preference is. Then we're going to move on to the third, which is color. And we have 4 questions. So what we want to do is match the skin tone perfectly. We have 4 questions, which we plug into this cool little thing, and we can send a link to somebody. They answer those 4 questions and it comes up with the shade. And like I said, it is pretty spot on. It's absolutely amazing. I don't know how it works, but it works. I have never had anyone that we were way far off. And I've only had like maybe 1 or 2 people that we actually had to kind of adjust and go slightly lighter or slightly darker. It is pretty spot on. Like I said, I have no idea how they do it, but it's amazing. So we have ladies answer those questions to be able to have our starting point. Then we let people try and test that shade. And for most people, it's like, oh my gosh, it goes right in. That's perfect. If we need to adjust from there, then we can. So that's how we actually do the color. And that's what's also great about people at a distance. We can send them those questions, find out the shade, and send them the sample, have them try it, and then we can adjust from there. But then if we're in a different place than somebody, if we're across the country from somebody, it's not a problem at all. It's super cool. I remember back in the day where we used to have like 5 different shades all the way up. And so this is like so simple, it's crazy. Then the 4th thing is actually the tools of applying. And a lot of times it really comes down to preference. I like using the foundation brush. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a bisquillion little bristles. And you just do a little dot, just a little dot right on the top, and you just blend it in, and it kind of airbrushes it on. So this is a super fabulous tool. I find that I use far less product when using a tool than when using my fingers. And so I love the foundation brush, and it really works on all of our formulas. There's really not one that it doesn't work on, but once again, it comes back to preference. Some people like the sponge, and this is actually a blending sponge. You can get it wet, you can use it dry, what have you, and it works really with all of our formulas as well. I would say the silky setting powder, though, it works with that too, because you would use it just dry and kind of apply that on. I like this one for the silky setting powder a little bit more. So we have the sponges, we have the blending sponge, and then we have the foundation brush. So once again, people being able to select what works for them, what their routine is for putting on foundation. So we're able to personalize it for every person. The final thing is we have additional products that go with the foundation. For example, we have a foundation primer, which is amazing. And you actually just warm it up in between your fingers and apply it up and out in all directions, avoiding the eye area. And this is great for, it has an additional SPF protection, but it also, I think, makes the foundation go on even more smoothly, but you actually even use less foundation there too. So literally a foundation probably should last you like 6 months, if not more. Our products are very concentrated. They last a long time. And all of these other little things actually help the tools, the foundation primer, they make that it requires less and less product to get the desired look that you want. So we have foundation primer. We also have concealer, which is something that you can do after the foundation for any dark areas, dark circles, anything that you want to hide or detract. We have an under eye corrector, which is amazing. We have our translucent, and I know I just shared a ton of products with you, but those are some other products that can go along with the foundations. So what I would suggest is to connect with your consultant to try out some of these products. Have either get together with her or have her pop a couple samples in the mail or drop samples off to you. Try them and see what you think. It's great training for your consultant because then she gets your feedback, which is super valuable, and you get to try different combinations, different formulas. Gosh, do I like the liquid? Or, I've never tried the cream to powder. What's that like? I'd like to see what that is on my face, or what have you, or the CC cream, let me try that. So I would say connect with your consultant so that you can try some of these different combos. We can have the practice of being able to get the exact right color with the exact right formula, the exact right tools, so that you're able to put your foundation on super fast in the morning, but yet it looks like you took a long time doing it. So I'm going to go